In this video, I'm going to share the 5-step business model that companies like McDonald, Starbucks, and H&M followed to create their billion-dollar empire across the globe, which can actually be replicated by you, me, or any other small business owner out there. Hey folks, I'm Addy and we're currently wrapping up phase 2 of my 90-day tech startup challenge. And last week, I wanted to figure out if there's a correct model or blueprint that I can follow to build my startup and maximize my chances of success. And my search led me to this book, which is called The E-Myth Revisited: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. This book was amazing to read and I could not take my hands off it for the entire week. It literally transformed my perspective on how to start a business and gave me the exact blueprint that I'll be using for my startup. And if you don't want to take my word for it, then take a look at what this creator has to say about this book.
Okay, so I first read this book, The E-Myth Revisited, in 2019 after finishing medical school, and it took me from making around $100,000 a year in my business to now multiple millions each year.
So this book gave Ali a 5-step blueprint on how to scale his business to $1 million company. And I promise you, if you watch till the end of this video, you're gonna learn that exact blueprint, which might just change your life. So the first step to building $1 million business is to really understand that your job as a business founder isn't to create a place for you to go to work every day. Your job is actually to design something known as a business prototype, which is basically a model of your business that can be replicated to create multiple branches of your business. And each of those branches are identical in that they're able to produce the same product or service, deliver the exact same customer experience, and deliver consistent results every single time, regardless of the location or who's running it. And if you take a look around you, you'll see that every successful business is doing this. Think about McDonald's, Starbucks, or H&M, or any other popular business chain around you. When you walk into any branch of these businesses, you know exactly what to expect. That's because each branch is a copy of a carefully designed business prototype, which has every detail worked out. Everything from the decor, to the employee uniforms, to what the employees say to you, to the exact recipe for everything that they serve you. So when you start a business, your goal as a business founder should be to design a prototype that's so well crafted and efficient that it can be replicated anywhere and run by anyone that you choose to hire. And ultimately, that's what's going to give you the freedom to step away from your business and reap its rewards. So what do you actually have to do to create this business prototype? Well, you move on to step 2 of this blueprint and start by having a really deep conversation with yourself to figure out what your primary aim in life is. Your primary aim is basically answers to questions like, what do I want to be doing 10, 20, 30 years from now? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of impact do I want to have on this world? And if I were on my deathbed, would I regret how I've been living my life so far? It's really important to answer these questions because any business that you create should ultimately help you move closer to fulfilling your primary aim. Because if it doesn't, you're going to really struggle with motivation and you're going to want to give up when things start to get tough. So once you've got your primary aim down, you can move on to the next step, which is defining the strategic objective of your business. Your strategic objective is a clear and concise statement that defines the long-term vision and goals of your business. It's not just what your business does, but why it exists and what impact it aims to have. And a good strategic objective is one which is centered around your customers' emotions or frustrations rather than something superficial. So if you're creating a toy company, your strategic objective could be to spread joy amongst children rather than simply selling toys. If you're creating an educational company, your strategic objective should be to empower individuals to learn anything from anywhere on this planet, not simply sell as many courses as possible. If you're creating a fitness app, your strategic objective might be to make healthy living accessible and enjoyable for everyone, rather than to increase app subscriptions. So are you able to tell the difference? Because these objectives focus on the value and impact that your business provides, not just what it sells. Now, once you know what your business is going to do through its strategic objective, and you know that it's going to fuel your primary aim, you can move on to step 4 of this blueprint, which is designing something known as an organizational strategy. An organizational strategy is basically a chart that outlines all the roles necessary in your company to fulfill its strategic objective. So if I have a moving company whose strategic objective is to make relocation stress-free and seamless for every customer, I might design an organizational strategy that looks like this. At the top of the chart, you have the CEO, whose job is to make sure that the business fulfills its strategic objective. And he or she does that by managing 3 core people. The operations lead, that's responsible for managing the department that actually helps customers move, a people lead that handles advertising and customer service, and a finance lead that handles all money-related matters. And each of these people have roles under them to help fulfill their roles. But this is an organizational strategy that outlines every role that needs to be fulfilled to run this business successfully. And just to drive the point home and show you that you can do something like this for something that's really small, here's another organizational strategy for a YouTube channel run by a single person whose strategic objective is to help viewers maximize their productivity and achieve work-life balance. So at the top, once again, you have the CEO, who's responsible for making sure that the channel meets its strategic objective. But this time, he does that by managing a lead editor, a growth manager, and an analytics lead, because those are the roles necessary to keep a YouTube channel running. So once you have your organizational strategy defined, in the early stages of your business, you're going to be the person fulfilling all of these roles. But as the business grows, you can start outsourcing some of these roles to people that you hire. And because this organizational strategy was crafted to meet your company's strategic objective, you know that the people that you hire are directly contributing to that objective. But honestly, the beauty of this org strategy comes to life when you combine it with step 5 of this blueprint, which is called the systems strategy. This is the step that literally ties everything together, and when I read about it, I literally got goosebumps because it was such an eye-opener. But to understand what a system strategy is, you first need to understand what a system is. A system is something that produces the exact same output when you give it the exact same input. And if you take a look around you, you'll see systems being used everywhere. So for example, have you ever gone to a Starbucks, a Dunkin' Donuts, or your local bubble tea shop and seen the employees look at a recipe book like this before making your drink? Well, the recipe book basically has step-by-step instructions on how to prepare any drink available in store. If you order a vanilla sweet cream cold brew coffee, then the employee turns to that page of the recipe book and follows the instructions. And this recipe book is literally a system where its input is your drink order and the output is the actual drink that it produces. Think about what that means for a second. Because the recipe book is the system that Starbucks uses to create their drinks, all they need to do is hire someone who can read and follow a drink recipe or run that system. And if they can hire someone to run that system, they know that every Starbucks is producing the exact same drink every single time across every location on the globe, creating a consistent customer experience, which is why customers go to Starbucks. So what does this have to do with the concept of a system strategy? If we go back to one of the organizational strategies that I showed you before, your job as a business founder is basically to come up with systems that can replace every position in your organizational strategy, which eventually converts that strategy into a system strategy. Then all you need to do is hire people or build software that can run those systems for you. And in doing so, your business runs itself. Why? Because your system strategy is based off your organizational strategy, and your org strategy is based off your strategic objective, and your strategic objective is based off your primary aim. So if you've got all those steps right, you've basically created a self-sustaining business model. And all that's left for you to do is to go out there and implement this model. And that is exactly what companies like McDonald's, Starbucks, H&M, and influencers like Ali Abdaal have done to create insanely successful companies all around the world. Now, there are a lot more topics that this book covers, like people management strategies and marketing strategies, which I didn't have time to cover in this video. But if you're interested in reading this book to explore any of the topics that I've talked about in more detail, then I've left an Amazon affiliate link in the description, which you can use to get a copy of this book. Now, buying the book through that link won't cost you any extra money, but I will receive a small commission for it, which I'll use towards building this startup. So if you'd like to support the channel, then that's an option for you. Cool. So at this point, you might be wondering how I'm going to apply this business model to the idea that I shared for my startup in episode 2 of this series, which is a great question because that is exactly what I'm going to be showing you in the next episode.